Hello, everybody. This is Jacob Sapochnik with the Enchanting Lawyer Podcast. Welcome to our show again. And today, we had a pretty exciting guest in the past few shows, talking about some, we had an inspiration, we had a body language expert and influence, and I get a lot of requests from people that they want some tangible tools as the year starts, 2015, to amp their marketing, to get some better leads, quick and fast. And today we have an exciting guest that can help us, give us some of that information specifically for that. We have Talor Zamir. Talor is an internet marketing specialist and Google Ads expert. Talor has been a full-time internet marketing entrepreneur and consultant for more than 7 years. He has been in the trenches doing his work himself and getting great results for his high-end clients, among them many attorneys, doctors, and other professionals. Talor has successfully generated leads for dozens of different businesses, from every type of thing that you can think of, including real estate, martial arts, and more. And he has done work with experts like Perry Marshall and other prominent experts in the marketing industry. And today he's here with us to share some interesting tips for us in 2015 to help us with our marketing. Talor, welcome to our show. How are you today?
Thank you very much, Jacob. I'm doing great, and I'm excited to share some great tips and ways that people can generate leads for their business using Google AdWords.
Excellent. And we cover a lot of marketing things on the show. We talk from Facebook marketing and content marketing, but one of the things that I get asked all the time is if I start my firm desperately needs leads when you want to make their phone ring. And my understanding is that pay-per-click and Google Ads is one of those things where you can, if you do it correctly, you can get results fast and in a very, very efficient manner, right?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, in my opinion, for local business owners, like lawyers, cosmetic dentists, specifically people that, higher end type of small business or local business, and lawyers have been my number one niche that I have worked with and have seen get great results. And what's great about it is that literally, and we'll discuss this a little bit more, all you have to do is put up a landing page, a high converting landing page, and you can set up a Google AdWords campaign very quickly. And we'll talk about the right way and the wrong way to do that, because many people also fail because they're not doing it the right way. So we'll talk about the right way to do it. But it's something that you can do very quickly, and typically within 24 hours, your ads will begin running on Google, and you can immediately start generating new leads for your business. And what I've seen as well is that businesses like lawyers and cosmetic dentists and plastic surgeons and other local businesses, and again specifically those that have a higher ticket price item, a landscaper. I mean, you can get great results for a landscaper, but it's like how much is a lead really worth to them? So like I typically work with higher end clientele like lawyers and the ones I've mentioned. And so what I find is that people are really searching for them on Google. A lot of people, it's really obvious. They're going into Google, they're typing personal injury lawyer San Diego or immigration lawyer San Diego. So, obviously SEO is one strategy, but it takes a long time to rank organically in Google for competitive keywords a lot of times, right? So this is something, and as a matter of fact, I've trained over 3,000 marketing consultants on how to land lawyers and other local businesses as their clients, and how to implement this strategy that we're going to talk about today to get results for them. And so I've trained over 3,000, and many of them were SEO experts, and many of them are come to me and they say, I'm doing SEO for my clients, but it's it takes so long to get results, and I want to keep them happy. So you could be paying someone to do SEO thousands of dollars a month or $1,000 a month, let's say, for 6 months or 7 months before you start to, a lot of times, really see great results. Whereas in the meantime, in order to keep their clients happy, they do Google advertising, Google AdWords, which we're going to talk about today, to get them the immediate results, immediate leads, because most people don't want to wait a year to get leads. They want leads right now,
Absolutely. So let me ask you this, Talor. Can you explain to us, how does pay-per-click actually influence the search result plan or search strategy of any business?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, pay-per-click means PPC. A lot of times a lot of people don't really know the difference. A lot of business owners who aren't familiar with internet marketing, they need to know the difference between PPC and SEO. So SEO is search engine optimization. That's the organic listings, and PPC is pay per click. Now, Google AdWords Google AdWords basically invented pay per click, if I'm not mistaken. And since then, many other platforms have copied them. And Google advertising and Facebook pay per click are the two biggest now. But Google AdWords is still the biggest, if I'm correct, at this point. With Facebook has been coming up very quickly. But again, for lawyers specifically and other local businesses, a lot of people are not searching for them on Facebook. You could still create great content strategy and create a great community and get a lot of clients from Facebook. But Google is where, if someone has a need right now, like someone gets in a car accident, where are they going to go? It used to be the Yellow Pages, but now Google is the new Yellow Pages, right? So they're going on Google. Now, I'm sure if you've gone on Google, I'm sure most people use it every day, you see that the first three results are ads, and the results on the right side of the page are the ads as well. So typically when you do a Google search, let's say personal injury lawyer in your city, you will see the top three results are the ads, and then on the right side of the page are the ads. Right? So the top three results are the ads, and below those top three ads are the organic results. That's where it starts getting into the SEO under that. So the ads, and typically you want to be in the top three if you want to get more traffic, because most they've done like lots of heat maps, like eye charts, where they show where people's eyes go on a page when they do a Google search, and it almost always stays on the left side of the page. Those top three ads. The top three results, the ads, and the first couple of organic results is where people's eyes really navigate to. So you want to try to be in one of the top three positions on the page. Once you fall into position number 4 or lower, then you go on the right side of the page with your ad, and you get a lot less traffic, a lot fewer clicks. So pay-per-click, getting back to what it actually means that you only get charged when someone clicks on your ad. And this is a really beautiful thing. In fact, the Google advertising platform, some of us marketers, especially people like myself who have made a living from this advertising platform, are really passionate about it. We say it's like the greatest thing ever created in the history of marketing. If you think about it, years ago, you used to have to do a direct mail campaign, or even to this day, if you look, what many lawyers are doing, you're still doing newspaper ads or billboards or TV or radio, and the return on investment is much higher. They don't get anywhere near the results that they get from Google advertising. And the reason is because, when you put up a billboard, you're not only paying when someone calls your billboard or someone's interested. If you do TV, you're paying for the placement. You're paying for the placement of it. And also I call that interruption advertising. Whereas Google, you only get charged when someone clicks on your ad. Now, what's even better about that is that Google is also, what I find, aside from a referral, it's really the highest quality lead you can get. Obviously, if someone makes a personal referral, they say, hey, this lawyer is the best lawyer in the world, you need to see him, that's going to be a very high quality lead. But as far as advertising goes, Google is a very high quality lead. And the reason is, anyone who's done any type of sales or marketing, that the difference between when you're trying to prospect someone else, or a cold call, let's say, and you're trying to get their attention or get your message to them, versus them searching, finding, and calling you. So when someone goes on Google and types in personal injury lawyer San Diego, they're probably looking to hire a personal injury lawyer in San Diego, right now. So they have an immediate need, and they're looking for you, and then they see your ad at the top of the page, and if they don't click on your ad, you don't even get charged. So you only get charged if they click on your ad, and then, when they click on your ad, you want to send them to a landing page, which we'll talk a little bit more about later on. But yeah, so that's really the key. So because you're only getting charged when people click on your ad, it makes the conversion aspect of things so important. So what really is going to make or break your Google campaign is how well you convert that traffic once they click on your ad. So if you're only being charged when they click on your ad, the difference between 1 out of every 20 people calling and the difference between, or having 3 out of 20 people calling could be the difference between Google AdWords being hugely successful for you or it failing.
Excellent. And Talor, what are some of the problems or complaints that people who come to you to, for you to help them are complaining right now with the current campaigns, or people who are not using campaigns are complaining about? What are some of the things that you hear from doctors, dentists, lawyers?
Sure. Yeah. So a lot of lawyers will say, "Oh yeah, I tried that Google AdWords thing.
Yeah.
I spent $1,000 and I didn't, it didn't work out for me. So that's what I'll hear a lot of the time. So basically, the first question I'll say is, well, did you have a high converting landing page? And most of the time they'll say, well, what's a landing page? Something which, as a marketer, this is something that's very basic to me, but a lot of times I don't realize that a lot of business owners don't even understand what a good high converting landing page looks like. So having a good high converting landing page is the biggest mistake. So a lot of lawyers will send the traffic to their main website. So they think, oh, well, I have this website. So when someone clicks on my ad, I'll send them to the website, right? And so what happens is people have what's called online ADD. They basically, you send them to your website and they start clicking around. They start clicking around like, this guy practices in these different areas of practice. And let me go here. Oh, he's got a blog and about us. And they start clicking there and then their phone rings or something happens and they're gone, right? So the landing page, and that's another thing. If you practice in multiple areas of practice and someone clicks on your ad and you drop them on a general website that talks about everything that you do, that's not going to be anywhere near as effective as if you have a specific landing page. So if someone types in, immigration lawyer, then they click on your ad, you're going to send them to a specific landing page that's specifically about immigration. And in fact, if you want to get even more specific, let's say you were doing like H1, right? That you would, if they click on an H1 ad, you want to drop them on an H1 landing page, right? So the more specific you can get and the more congruent you can be, the higher the conversion you're going to get. So a big mistake is dropping people on your main website. You're going to get a much lower conversion than if you have a good high converting landing page. And I know, Jacob, we're going to do a webinar where I'm actually going to show some examples of these good landing pages and bad landing pages and good ads and bad ads.
Absolutely.
So that's going to be good ad. So that's another thing, having a good ad versus a bad ad. So a lot of people don't understand within Google AdWords. Here's how the system works. Okay, so if you get, let's say you get a 2% click-through rate on your ad, and what that means is the click-through rate means a 2% click-through rate means this very simply, that if out of 100 people do a search for a certain keyword, if 2% of the people click on your ad, that's a 2% click-through rate, okay? Now, if you can, Google AdWords allows you to split test multiple different ads. So instead of writing one ad, like most lawyers will go in, write one ad, send the traffic to their main website, spend $1,000 and say, oh, this thing didn't work for me, right? If you split test multiple ads, let's say you can find an ad that doubles your click-through rate. So let's say that instead of 2% click-through rate, you can get an ad that gives you a 4% click-through rate. Well, you've now doubled the amount of clicks, doubled the amount of potential leads you can get. And also Google actually rewards you because if you get a higher click-through rate, Google gives you a lower cost per click. So they reward you for getting more clicks on your ad. Now, one thing I want to mention here is that Google is one of the most profitable companies in the world, and they don't make any money on SEO. They don't make money from search engine optimization. Over 90% of their profits come from Google AdWords, the Google advertising platform. In fact, the whole reason why Google got into the whole mobile phone and Android market is really because they want their browser, their Google browser, on mobile phones. They know that the future is people going to be searching Google from their mobile phone, and they want people to be searching on Google and not on some other web browser because they want to get that people clicking on their ads. So they make money from the ads. So another thing I just want to point out is that, some lawyers or some people, and maybe people listening right now might say, oh, well, most people don't click on those ads. Does anyone even click on those ads? Most people, I always click on the organic results. So people say that to me all the time. And the thing is that, first of all, if Google wouldn't be one of the most profitable companies in the world if people didn't click on the ads, right? Because they make all their money from the ads. Secondly, I will say to you, yes, you're right. Most people will click on the first organic result below the ads, right? And so let's say 40 or 50% of people will click on the first organic ad, right? That's okay. With Google AdWords, with our ads, we literally only need about 2% or 3% of people clicking on our ad in most major cities. If you have 2 or 3% of people clicking on your ad, so out of 100 searches, if only 3 people click on your ad out of 100, you probably have enough leads, right?
Right.
So that's the thing you have to realize. You only need 3 out of 100 to click on your ad.
And that's what most people don't understand, I guess. And even for me, as I'm trying to learn this and apply this in my own practice, the idea is that you don't need everybody to click on it. You just need a certain percentage, and that's going to be sufficient to cover your cost and close those leads, which we're going to talk about in a second about some of the more effective ways to do it. But before we dive into some of the technical side of it, why don't you tell me, let's say if an attorney or doctor, they want to set up first time or make their Google AdWords campaign more efficient, what are some of the 3 or 5 things you would suggest that every successful PPC campaign must have to be successful?
Absolutely, yeah. So great question. So again, just to reiterate, the first biggest thing would be, or the 2 things I mentioned that are extremely important, because if you think about it this way, right? Here's a formula that I put out to a lot of people. I say, if you can split test your ads, and there's been many times where I've written an ad, and the first ad I write gets maybe a 2% click-through rate, and the second ad gets a 4% click-through rate. So right there, by split testing multiple ads and finding your winning ad, that alone could potentially double the amount of leads you get, right? And now, if you put that in combination with a landing page, a lot of times I find that a landing page can double your conversion. So instead of sending traffic to your main website, if you have a good high-converting landing page, you can double the conversion of that traffic. So if you think about that together, if you can double your click-through rate and double your conversion on your landing page, you're now getting 4 times the amount of leads as your competitor is potentially getting that's doing AdWords. Now that's the difference between someone who says, oh, I tried that AdWords thing, it didn't work, and someone else, like I have a client who's a lawyer who spent over almost, I can't remember, $448,000 and change, $448,000 last year on Google Ads, right? So, and even right now, he's still spending on average, about $40,000 a month right now on Google Ads. He practices in multiple areas of the law, so we have multiple campaigns running for him, but it's extremely successful. It's by far his highest return on investment, and he does, billboards, TV, everything, and it's not even close as to what his, best return on investment is that he's getting. So those 2 things are very, very important. The third thing I will say, that a big mistake I see many people make, and in fact, many of the consultants that I've trained, especially the ones who are former or who are SEO consultants, and they come to me and they say, I need to get traffic from my client. He's been waiting 6 months and the SEO still hasn't really kicked in. I need to do, so they learn from me, they buy my training program, and they learn how to successfully do Google advertising for their clients. And one of the biggest mistakes I see that they make is they're used to doing all this crazy keyword research. With SEO, you do a lot of keyword research, and a lot of them are very technical, and they do all this kind of stuff. And so they come back and they have this list of 300 keywords that they want to bid on. And so that is actually a big mistake when you're first starting out. You don't want to go, you want to stay very targeted with your keywords at first. You don't want to go too broad. What happens is that if you have too many keywords and you go too broad, then you'll get a lot of clicks, but they won't convert as well. Let me give you an example. For a chiropractor, let's say, right. If you're a chiropractor, a lot of people might think that a good keyword for a chiropractor is back pain. Right? So if someone types in back pain, you would think that that's a good keyword for a chiropractor. But in fact, it's actually not a good keyword for a chiropractor, because you're actually competing with a back pain creams. People have creams for back pain. They have braces for back pain. They have all sorts of, seat cushions for back pain and this. So now you're competing with hundreds of other advertisers that are all trying to reach a market of people that have back pain. Now, what a great keyword is for a chiropractor, in fact, it's almost so simple and obvious that it's almost laughable. But if you're a chiropractor, you know what keywords you should start off bidding on? You should start off bidding on the keyword chiropractor, chiropractors, and chiropractic. Right? So the chiropractic, chiropractor, and chiropractors are going to be if someone's searching for a chiropractor, that's what they're going to type into Google. So you start with those really targeted keywords, right? And then from there, if you're getting great results, you can expand and expand. But a big mistake is people have too many keywords, they go way too broad, and then they blow through their budget very quickly, and they wonder why they're not getting great results. Right. Again, if someone's typing chiropractor San Diego, they're probably looking to go to a chiropractor in San Diego this week. If someone's typing in back pain, they could be looking for a back pain cream or a brace or a seat cushion or something, right? So again, starting with your very highest quality keywords, starting there first, and then when you have success with those keywords, you can always expand and add more later. Absolutely. So those, I think, are the biggest mistakes. Going too broad with your keywords, not split testing your ads, and not having a good high converting landing page.
Thanks for that, Talor. And can you give me a couple of short success stories? Just give me an example of some of these cases so we can people can understand, some of our listeners can understand in practice what you can actually do with the proper PPC campaign. And of course, we will announce the webinar that is coming up on February 20th in the show notes, so people will be able to sign up and log in and get some more in-depth strategies for their PPC.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would recommend on the webinar, I'll actually show you examples of what my proven high converting landing pages for lawyers and other local businesses. I have a proven template, a formula that works extremely well. So I recommend that on the webinar, I'll show you examples of what many lawyers are using and other local businesses, as well as what the good proven model looks like. I'll show you some bad ads and some good ads so you can see the difference in what components of a good ad should have in them. So that'll be great. And then as far as like a case study, let me share. So I'll share with you a story of a client that I've been running his Google AdWords. He's also a lawyer, and I've been running his Google AdWords for a few years now. And again, it's also been his most profitable avenue compared to billboards and TV and radio. And I mean, he's pretty much tried everything else. And so what we did was we started out in one area, and he's a really smart guy. He's a very entrepreneurial lawyer, and so we started out in one area of the law for him. And in fact, he was doing short sales and loan modifications and things like that. When that a few years ago, that was a really big opportunity, especially in the state of Nevada, where there was tons of people who owe more than their home is worth. So he started in that category, and so we started generating leads for him in that one area of practice, and he was making a huge return on investment in that one area of practice. And in fact, when you can capitalize on trends, there's a huge opportunity to make money. Like something that's new. For example, I had a mortgage broker who had huge success when the HARP refinance. It was a refinancing program called the HARP. It was Obama really created a new program, the HARP refinance, where even if you owed more than your home was worth, you could still refinance and take advantage of the low rates. So this was a new program, and I got this mortgage broker client on Google AdWords. He was one of the first people advertising, and I mean, he made, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars, I don't know, over the course of 2 years. I know that he was, started off saying, hey, well, here's really the beauty of it too. This is a perfect example of the beauty of Google AdWords, is that when I say, this lawyer spends $40,000 a month, my client, right? The thing is that a lot of people may say, well, I don't have $40,000 a month budget. I can't do that. I don't have that kind of money or the budget. But the key is that we start with $1,000. We start with a $1,000 test, right? So you do a $1,000 test, and then you see, okay, well, I just spent $1,000 and I landed one client who's worth $5,000. In the case of the mortgage broker, they were making about $6,000, $7,000 on every refinance that they were doing. So they spent $1,000 and they landed a client and they made $6,000 or $7,000. And they said, well, that worked. Next month, let's spend $5,000. And they spent $5,000 and made back whatever it was, $35,000 or something. And they said, well, that worked. Let me next month spend $10,000. And so it's what's really amazing about it is that, years ago, if you, let's say, did a direct mail campaign, you would have to wait months and months to see the results, and you'd spend thousands of dollars, maybe tens of thousands of dollars, and it took you months to see the results, and then to see if it even worked or didn't work, right? Before you can figure out what tweaks you needed to make and do it again. With Google, you can instantly see what's working and what's not. In fact, there's a story of Tim Ferriss, who actually found the book title for his book, The 4-Hour Workweek, by actually split testing multiple Google ads and seeing which one got the most clicks. And in fact, I actually have a client who we changed all his billboard messages to the Google ad that was getting the most clicks, and now he's getting 3 times the response from his billboards that he was previously getting. So basically, we split tested tons of different ads, and we found, okay, this one gets the most clicks. And so we took that message and we put it on his billboard, replacing his other billboards, which were just really some generic message. Like most lawyers, you just have injury lawyer, call now, injury, accident, call now, that's the whole message. There's really no benefit in there for the client. There's nothing, so split testing ads, we found the winning thing and it went up. So getting back to the case study, similar situation with the lawyer who was doing short sales and loan modifications, and with the HARP refinance, the mortgage broker people, they started small, they got to test, and they said, well, this is working, let's do more. And then the lawyer said, well, hey, this worked in one area of practice. He goes, I also I also work in this area of practice, but I haven't really been getting many leads, so I just haven't been doing much with it. So he said, hey, can you set up a landing page and a Google AdWords campaign for me in this area of the law as well? And I said, sure. So we did that, and that started working. And he said, well, hey, that worked. He goes, I have a friend of mine who's a lawyer who just left this other law firm, and I think I can bring him in under my law firm, and he's an employment lawyer. And then someone else he brought in, he said, hey, this person's an immigration lawyer. He brought in an immigration lawyer. So before you know it, we were running, and it was really, I said, just set up a new landing page and a new Google AdWords campaign each time. And now he's, generating leads in 5 different areas of the law. And he's really built a really successful practice for himself. Now, I will mention one thing that is really important is how you answer the call and convert those calls into visitors. So that's the big X factor that I cannot always control. I can generate leads via Google Ads, but really my most successful clients are the ones that have, either, I don't want to say a sales team. This one guy who had the short sales and loan modifications, he did essentially have a sales team, I would say. People who were really skilled salespeople who were answering the phone, and they would make sure that when someone called and they were interested, they would get them into the office. And when they got them into the office, they had a very high conversion. So that's a big X factor that, I had one cosmetic dentist who, it was actually, he had a phone call system that recorded the calls. So we got to listen to the recorded phone call after, and it said, and so he basically had a phone call, and he had his niece, his 18-year-old niece, I think, working at doing the receptionist, and she answered the call, and they said, hey, do you guys do dental implants? And this guy makes about $12,000 from one dental implant patient, and the niece said, hold on, I'm not sure, let me see if someone's available, and put them on hold for 2 minutes, and went around trying to find someone, and the person hung up. Right? So, there's a big thing. You want to make sure that if you're paying for leads, any type of advertising or marketing, if you're paying for them, think about the difference between someone who answers the phone and can get 1 out of every 2 people into the office for a consultation versus someone else who answers the phone and only gets 1 out of every 4 people in the office for a consultation. It's really can double or triple your conversion by the way you answer the phone and get them in. So I did want to mention that part is the X factor. And so my most successful clients do a really good job at converting the calls that come in as well.
You have to have a back-end system that can actually handle those leads, because it's not enough just to drive them to your firm, to your website. If you can't handle them by getting a proper intake, like you said with the phones or whatever, it's going to be more difficult to convert it. So
that's right. That's right. Now, one beautiful thing about AdWords, one thing I also want to mention that's really great about Google AdWords is that you can set the schedule. So I always say to my clients, I say, you only want to be running ads when you have someone available to answer the phone. Yeah. So you can set it to run from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Monday through Friday. And then if that goes really well for you, and that's how I recommend most clients start, is have the ads only run during their office hours when someone's available to answer the phone. And if that goes really well for you, then you hire an after-hours answering service so that you can run the ads 24/7, and then you can get a lot more leads by running on nights and weekends and all those times as well. So
when people search for it, actually, sometimes people actually search for it.
Yeah.
Talor, I wanted to ask you this question.
Yes.
And some of the things that Google they always change their algorithm as far as the regular SEO. What are some of the changes in AdWords that make it better or worse? And maybe you can tell us some of the new features that are out there that people can use.
Yeah. So again, Google because they make their profits. Remember, they're a publicly traded company now. They have a responsibility to their shareholders to make more and more money every year. And again, over 90% of that comes from their Google ads. So one thing is they've been making it more and more difficult for people doing SEO, search engine optimization, to get results because, again, that's not what they want. They want people advertising. So they're constantly rolling out new things to make it easier for advertisers, AdWords advertisers. I actually have a call typically every month. I speak with my Google rep, and she's always bringing me up to speed about new things that they are releasing. And so Yeah. So again, with the SEO, like the Penguin update and the Panda update and all this kind of stuff that affects SEO, that doesn't apply. That doesn't hurt me at all, right? With Google advertising. And in fact, I think with SEO now, they don't even show you in Google Analytics. Doesn't even show you, if I'm not mistaken, anymore, which keywords are even working for you, which is really a blow
Yes.
to SEO. You know, that's a big blow. Whereas in AdWords, they're always rolling out new features. So they've rolled out a call tracking feature where you can now, and I still use a separate service, which is a little more robust. It's about $40 a month for a more advanced call tracking service. But Google AdWords rolled out their own internal call tracking service where you can now actually track phone calls back as conversions. So they have a unique tracking number that, you know, can go on your page that will basically tell you when someone calls that number, it'll feed back into your Google AdWords account and it will tell you exactly which keyword and which ad they clicked on that's generating that lead. So that's very important for businesses like lawyers and dentists and other local businesses where I find that typically 60 or 70% of the leads come in the form of a phone call. So on the landing page, you know, there's two ways for people to contact your office. Number one is they will call for a free consultation or a free quote or, you know, whatever it is. Typically for a lawyer, it's a free consultation. And the other option is if they don't want to call now for a free consultation, there's a form, an opt-in form where they can enter their information on the page, you know, for a free consultation. And we find that typically 60 to 70% of the leads come in the phone calls and maybe 30 to 40% come in people filling out the form. You know, maybe they're at work and they can't call right now, so they fill out the form. So typically, since 60 to 70% of your leads come in the form of a phone call, it's very important to be able to track that and know which keywords and which ads are generating those conversions. And so for years, this is something I've been teaching my marketing consultants this, that it's extremely important because for years, many lawyers were just completely flying blind. They were running ads and they were getting clicks and they would say, hey, well, either it's working or it's not working, but they didn't specifically know which keywords were working and which keywords were not. With this call tracking system, what's amazing about it is we're really able to fine tune. I'll give you an example. I was able to notice just recently that for and this is actually pretty interesting, for one of my personal injury lawyers, I found that Sundays he was paying like 6 times the amount for a lead on a Sunday versus during a Monday through Friday, right? And what's funny was I have a cosmetic dentist client, and for him it was the exact opposite. He was paying half the price on a Sunday for a lead versus what he was paying during the week. So you find some weird trends. And so for the personal injury lawyer, I paused his ads on Sunday and I reallocated that budget to his Monday to Friday budget, right? So now he's getting more leads for a lower cost. I've also found that there are some keywords that have a very, you know, there are some keywords that I found we spend $1,000 on and we got 0 leads. And there's other keywords where we spend $1,000 and we got 20 leads or something like that, right? So what happens then is you can pause the keyword that only got 1 lead or 0 leads for the $1,000, and you can let your winners run and pause all the losers, which dramatically increases the return on investment for your campaign.
Excellent. That's a great tip. So Talor, as we come to the end of our show, I wanted to why don't you share with our listeners, first of all, how we can find you online, your website, and whatever you want to share, Twitter or any of your contacts.
Yeah, I'm not a big social media person, but I do actually have my own podcast that we just launched called Intelligent Internet Marketing. So I'd encourage you to go to intelligentinternetmarketing.com or go into iTunes and find the podcast and subscribe to it. And I really share some of my top-notch secrets. It's not just about Google AdWords. It's about all different types of internet marketing in general. And then I do just have my main website, talorzamir.com, if you want to get in contact with me through there as well. So yeah, that's the way people can get in contact with me.
And we'll have links in the show notes to your website, to your new podcast, and also to a link to our upcoming webinar on February 20th, where we're going to be sharing some interesting tips and some strategies for attorneys and other professionals to make their quick marketing and effective strategies that will supplement what they already do by producing content and other things. Excellent. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Talor. I really appreciate you taking the time.
No problem. It's been my pleasure. Thank you, Jacob.
Excellent. And so this is Jacob Sapochnik at enchantinglawyer.com. If you have any questions or comments or anything that you heard here, please email me or leave a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. And we'll see you at our next episode. Thank you so much.